Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am T with T's Book Nook, and today we're going to be reviewing the genre of horror. But we're going to make it black today because there's not enough focus on that genre in the black community, and from the books I've read, I've enjoyed it so far, and so I just want to bring some awareness to it. Okay, now let's get started. The Blonde dies first. So this book is about a group of kids that want to celebrate their last summer together. They want to go out with a whole shebang, only to end up being haunted by some paranormal entity that follows the rules of a horror movie slasher killer guy person. So yeah, one thing I really liked about this book was the main character and the multiple side characters. While there is one main character, everybody has an equal part in the book, in my opinion. So it doesn't really feel like there's one main character, if that makes sense. Um, but yeah, the main character, is black and queer. So it's kind of inclusive in that sense. And I also did really enjoy the balance between character development and the plot. It wasn't too much of one. It was an equal share of both. So I did really enjoy that. And for that, I wanted to give this book rating a 9 out of 10. Like I said, I really did enjoy the plot, but I read it on an audiobook and I did not like the way that the lady sounded. I've read she's read some of the books that I've listened to before, but this one, I don't know, her voice was just getting on my everlasting nerves. Like, it was just the way that she was reading it, I absolutely hated it. But I just had to bear through it because I don't read a lot of black horror. So yeah, but it is a 9 out of 10. Next, we have The Black Girl Survives This One. Now, initially, I thought that this was going to be a novel based off like one specific main character, but then I started reading it and I realized that this is a collection of short stories, but they're all centered on black main characters. So I really did enjoy that. I did enjoy each and every short story that they have. However, some of the short stories left off on cliffhangers, and I really didn't appreciate that. I should have gotten more, and as a reader, I should have gotten that closure, and I didn't get that. So I'm a little salty about that. But, anyways, my favorite short story from the collection was a high school party turned zombie apocalypse. So basically, this girl throws a high school party and everything's going so well. And then these two girls get into a fight, um, break a tombstone, and release some spirit out into the wild. And next thing you know, zombies is coming up eating people and stuff. So, yeah, that was my favorite one out of the entire collection. But there are some really good reads in there. But anyways, for this book, I wanted to go with the rating of 9 out of 10. I would highly recommend this book. I enjoyed each storyline, and I really do enjoy the meaning that this book represents because there's not a lot of things in the horror genre in particular um, that has anything to do with the black community. And so it's putting us in these spaces, and not only are we thriving, but we're surviving. And so I really did enjoy that element of the book because every single one of them, we come out on top. Anyways, but like I said, I absolutely hated the cliffhangers, especially with the last story, because girl was getting chased by people at her school. It was, you gotta read it. It was a really good story, and I just hated that I don't get to see the end because I know she was kicking all of their asses. I just know it. Anyways, next we have You're Not Supposed to Die Here. So this book is basically about kids who run a horror theme park, and it's called like Camp Near a Lake or something. And it's basically the movie that it's based off of is similar to Friday the 13th. And one by one, crewmates slash friends start missing and turning up dead. And so the kids that are left have to like uncover the truth behind this camp and why they're basically being sacrificed by this cult their last week of being open, basically. This was the very first horror book that I read that centered a black MC, so it really it really helped me fall in love with the genre itself. And so that's why my opinion on this book may be a little biased, but I really don't care because it was a really good book. Um, it was a quick read. The plot isn't complicated or as complicated as other plots that are typically in the horror genre. And honestly, I'm rating it a 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. I don't give out 10s often, and like I said, it might be because I'm biased, but still, I enjoyed the plot. I enjoyed the main characters. I enjoyed the side characters. There isn't any character development because it all takes place within the span of a night. So that kind of sucks, but hey, it is what it is. Little warning, yeah. Don't get attached to anyone. That's all I'm gonna say. Sorry if that ruins anything for you. Just just really watch out and spare your own feelings. That's all I have to say. Honorable mention when no one is watching. So this book is classified as a thriller, but the way that I imagined it, if I was living in this book, it would be more like a horror film to me. Even though nothing really happens until the end, but we're not gonna talk about it. Um, anyway, so the book is basically about a girl who is raised in this neighborhood, and she comes back after life gets her down, and she finds that her neighborhood is changing at a super fast pace. And it's kind of strange because everybody who was in the neighborhood was kind of like a staple in the neighborhood, and they were never leaving. So for them to just all of a sudden turn up and disappear, she's like, what's going on? And while this is happening, she's finding out the history of her neighborhood and the surrounding neighborhoods, and she comes to find out that there's a little bit more at play than people just packing up and leaving without a goodbye. It's a lot more things happening under the seams, or whatever that saying is. Anyways, but it was a pretty good read. However, it is very slow going, and for that, I give it a rating 6 out of 10. Wouldn't be my first recommendation if somebody were to ask what books they want to read in this category. So, yeah, the action is really, really slow, and we only really get to the nitty gritty in the last few chapters. So, yeah, it's kind of like a they cloned Tyrone situation, but they're not cloning people, but it's still super similar because the labs and the black people underground. Yeah, you just gotta read it. It's still a good book, even though it is super slow. You just gotta be willing to go through the motions with it. Yeah. But, anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been Horror But Make It Black with T's Book Nook. And I really hope you enjoyed. I hope you stay, have some discussions in the comments, subscribe hopefully, and I will see you next time. Bye.